All right, man, we're back. We're here for another day. We're starting a new week here. It's Monday. It was late night last night from the last video, and we're back at it. Right after work here, just got home, kind of racing around a little bit, so this one's going to be a little quicker. My daughter's basketball game here, and that'll be quick. And then right after that's a client phone call after that. So it's going to be bang, bang, bang situation. But this one I really wanted to talk about because something that happened today at work was just a conversation. This wasn't a client. This wasn't anybody else. It was just a coworker, a random coworker that was talking to me about some things. He was asking questions just about how my diet and how I stay fit and what I'm eating and don't I get bored, just kind of the typical stuff. If you're somebody that starts to take care of yourself, that will become more common because people almost see you as uncommon. They'll start to make comments, obviously, about what it is you're doing, why this and why that, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter. That's a different subject. But the big thing is that he was kind of asking me about my diet and why I'm doing that because like today was a good example. I had taken lean hamburger 90-10 hamburger meat and mashed it with rice and made like a patty deal so I could eat that. And he was asking me what it was because it looked a little different. I had hot sauce in it. So, sometimes you get the weird questions about, hey, what is that? That looks a lot odd. I get that. But here's the thing. As I said that, immediately out of his mouth is, I could never do that, man. My whole thing and my situation, my metabolism, I wish I had a better metabolism. Mine sucks. It's like, okay, was that even a statement? What do you mean you can't do this? You have bad metabolism, your metabolism sucks. It's not even like a thing. What do you mean? And he kind of said, well, it'd be cool, but for me, I'm just, this is how I'm built genetically. It's like, so you're just, and just being straight up, he's overweight. He is not in shape right now. I'm not going to stand here and act like he's some disgusting slob, but at the same time, he's not put together. Could do a lot of work. That's fine. No big deal. If that's how he wants to live, that's fine. It's not for me, but whatever. But as he was saying that, he was saying, well, that's just not how I am. My metabolism's so screwed up and everything else. Okay, you know what? I'll give you that. I get your metabolism. Honestly, probably is screwed up. If you don't know how to eat right and everything throughout your entire life here, yeah. I mean, I get that it might be screwed up, but you understand that doesn't mean it just is. Right now, it's just currently a situation. It doesn't have to be forever. Well, as I said that, his answer was, well, when I get to the new house that we just bought, man, I'm going to get back on my diet and everything else. Oh, that's cool. What are you planning on doing? Well, he just kind of sat there blankly with a blank stare in his face. I mean, whatever. Like I said, this is just conversation. But the fact that he brought it up is interesting. And then after that, I said, well, I don't know. When I did keto last time, I lost a bunch of weight and I've done that before and it works really well. But, then I stopped doing it and I get off of it. And I took the moment to say, because we're coworkers, we work around each other all day. Took the moment to ask him, why do you think that is? What do you think it is about that why didn't that work? If it's something that you seem to enjoy, right? You liked to not be out of shape. You're telling me you lost weight with it and you felt better. Why didn't you keep doing it? Well, I didn't really have much of an answer or anything else. Had a bunch more excuses, which I get it. Life happened. This, that, and the other. It's like, well, at the end of the day, the answer is because you put yourself on a strict diet that just isn't a long-term answer. You don't understand what's happening. But I guess where I'm going with this is having like accountability for yourself. Like he sat there and long story short, he just argued for his limitations. Like, well, this and well, that. And again, going back to the whole metabolism thing. Well, like that's very, very easily fixable. It doesn't mean it happens overnight, but it's a very clear, straightforward process. We don't need to guess about this. We know how it works. We know what creates it. But every time I tried to, start the conversation, well, getting that right's not that tough as long as you just do the thing. And, instead of just saying, oh, yeah, I get that I'm falling short, it's like he wanted to argue for his limitations constantly in that moment and really kind of skirt around the fact that he had no fucking self-control. Like, let's be real, that's what it is. The fact that he was pointing his finger in every direction, and when he did that 2 or 3 times in a very, very short amount of time in this conversation, kept trying to go to the metabolic side as if he has no control over that in his body. And when I realized that was happening for the 3rd time, again, within probably 10 minutes of a conversation, I knew right there, okay, we're done. He's falling into the normal, into the mass majority. And that's fine, no big deal. He's just looking to be the typical coworker, be the typical human. He has to talk about any subject and complain about it and not take any ownership, not set a plan, and not take any action. Once that was the case, honestly, it turned into a very quick deal for me because at that point, as you know from some of my past videos, is I don't sit down and take a lunch anyways. So the fact that I was even in that spot was kind of its own deal. I came in to grab that little patty mix-up thing I had, and that's how that conversation started. But that was what made me think of this video today. So like all that pre-story was what gets me to right here. Is just that, like, what I wanted to tell him so bad, but there wasn't a point to tell him that in this moment because he wasn't saying it to me as a, like, hey, I'm looking for guidance. He was just saying to be the typical guy. You know what I mean? I've got enough history around him to know that that's just the way the conversation was. And I threw a few hooks out there. No one was biting. Totally fine. I don't need to have the conversation. But what I wanted to tell him in that moment is, dude, you lack self-control. Like, the end. Like, that's what it is. Like, there's no getting around it. That may be hard for some people to hear. Some people are nodding their head. Yeah, fuck yeah. And the reason I know that's what he was doing is because that's what I struggled with many times in my life in many different places. And it creeps up every now and then. It still does to this day. But self-control is something that is a serious battle. And hearing him talk about his food choices, his metabolism, how he couldn't do what I'm doing. Ugly ass face. That let me know right away that, oh, I see. We're not here actually doing this. What we're doing is we're just coming up with excuses. I get that. You have no self-control. That makes sense. It does. It really does. And what told me that was because as he's sitting here saying these things, you see what they're eating. You see the quick little snacks they're eating that they think are good for themselves because they've been sold an idea. Like a Nutri-Grain bar that's just slammed with carbs. That's all it is. No proteins. None of the macros are right. Everything's thrown off. Like, what the hell's the point in that thing? Well, it's marketed as a health food. It's just not. He's plowing that. How it says you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh man, right there's one decision. And then somebody might bust out a sandwich that's got like the thinnest piece of meat on it ever, but it's loaded with mayonnaise, tons of bread, some big old thick loaf of bread that's just way over the top. Like, come on, man. Like, look at your decisions right in front of me. Busting open a sweet tea, having a pop, like all this stuff that you shouldn't have. Like, so as you're fighting for your limitations, you're showing me your choices. So that shows me right there, dude, you have no self-control. Be able to tell yourself no. Like, That's the big issue there. And that's something that we all should understand, especially as divorced men. Like, that's really where the heart of this is that the sooner you can get that under control, though, you can wrap your mind around that you could always be better in your self-control aspect, in your impulses, your impulse control, which that's so much. That's drugs, that's drinking, that's smoking, that's snack foods, that's the sugars, the sweets. How about something super fatty like ice cream, big old grilled cheese sandwich when you had your protein in for the day? It's porn. It's looking at your coworker that's a female and you're trying to strike up a conversation because it's not really right. You know what I mean? Like, it feels good to talk to her. You're not doing it for the right reasons. You're lusting after another person that's not the one for you at home. Like, all that's impulse control, every bit of it. So understand you got to work on that. Like, just get it out there, out in the open. Tell yourself that I need to work on impulse control every single day. You got to do it, man. Because listen, here's the thing at the end of the day too, is that when it comes to impulse control, these little moments of the temptations, those are so many little battles happening throughout the day and the week. Like, it's all over. In the middle of a day, dude, like, you genuinely could have 100 plus moments of just wins over and over and over and over and over and over. Just from recognizing a moment of weakness dealing with impulse control. And again, there's so many different factors of that. But like, a big one is like getting your food in the morning, getting your protein, right? Focus on getting your protein in for the day first. Like, when you have that sugar craving, tell yourself, you know what? I can have that once I get my protein in for the day, at least my protein in for the day first. And all of a sudden, now you've taken that craving, that impulse, and put it back in the back of the line. You're not saying you can't have that. You're controlling it, though. I mean, that's just one. Here's a small one. You're walking down in your own driveway like that. This happens to me a lot. My kids will get in my truck. Some little bit of bullshit of trash will fly out. I live out in the middle of the country. If I'm being real, there's times I see it on the ground like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's an impulse to not do that. No, man, I'll get like 2 steps. Let's stop. Go pick it up. First off, pick it up because you got to respect your shit. Respect your place, your palace. Respect it. Go ahead and pick that up. I pick that up right there. Just interrupt it. Get after there and do it. Pick the little bit of trash up. Don't step over it. Do the stuff. Even if it seems mundane, just all these little moments, they do compile. Man, but that impulse control. So going back to that conversation with my coworker, like, seeing him and just looking at him, I'm thinking, and he's a good dude. This is not a knock on his, who he is as a person within my reality. Now, I have no idea what he does on his own time, but within my reality and my space, he's a good dude. But looking at him, he lacks impulse control. Like, I know that. I know he doesn't have control over these decisions in his life. So that is something that if you can get the handle on that very early, and that's just getting a handle. That doesn't mean you're handling or you're not kicking it out of your life like you're never going to worry about it again. Understand that it's not just going to go away forever. Once you've tackled it for one day, it makes tomorrow easier, yes, but it does not mean it won't show up tomorrow. Some days, that fucking shit's going to show up 2-fold, 3-fold, 100 times harder. Who knows? Like, it'll just show up more and more and more. And the more you rack it up, the more people see that. And the more people see that, they start to recognize who you are without you even saying a word. That's what people mean when they say, when I enter a room, people know I'm there. They recognize it. They feel me in the room. It's because you're carrying yourself differently. You don't have you don't have the problems of impulse control. You move through the room in a different way. You're not influenced by the room itself or the circumstances around it. You handle the room, you control the room. It's a thing. And not only that, but let's be real too. If you have impulse control, like you got a good grip on that, like you're physically going to see it. Like not only are people going to know it because of the way you move, but you're physically going to look like, oh shit, this guy's got it. And again, specifically to us as divorced men, like the sooner you can start to harness this thing and start to really implement it into your life, the changes they're astronomical. They're so quick. This is such a quick victory. It's almost unbelievable because if you can start to do it on multiple fronts within your life to where other people are seeing it, you stand out. And the problem is it's easy. It's so easy to stand out in that way because nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is being that human. They're letting their lives be dictated by the ads on TV. They're letting themselves be dictated by the sugar craving within their body. Let themselves be dictated by the chemicals that are pumping through them, that are coming from their brain to say, oh, I want that. Let's get that dopamine hit. Like they're a slave to that stuff. I can't stress enough how important that one thing is in the early days. Get yourself under control. Understand this. The more you can stand there and truly say to yourself, speaking to your body, listen, you don't control me. I control you. So when that craving comes up, listen, motherfucker, you don't control me. I tell you when we have that. You understand? I hope that makes sense. There's nothing better than when you've done this enough, you start to build the patterns in your life over and over and over, and you can't be denied. That's when things are fun. That's when you start to have the big victories. You start to get seen by the other people. You start to get the comments, man, how'd this happen? How'd that happen? It's going to be a minute before they come to you personally and ask, but understand this. They're talking about you. They're wondering how you're doing it. Why is he so happy? He just got divorced. Why is he so happy? They're going to be asking themselves that. They're going to be talking about it behind closed doors. And listen, it doesn't concern you. That shit doesn't matter in the big picture. But boy, when they come up to you, start asking, how'd you do this? What's going on? You look good. It's those patterns. It's those patterns over and over and over. And it all starts with self-control. It's the impulse control. It's the awareness that it does exist. And it's the awareness that just like everybody else, you're human. I'm human. We are subject to them. We will be tested daily. This is not a maybe. This is not oh, that doesn't affect me. Dude, it affects everybody. And it's a decision that's made hundreds of times a day. But holy shit, it's the easiest way to stack up wins. And I truly believe that not only people in general, but specifically men lack the impulse control. They really do. There's some sections of my life, impulse control, back then wasn't even close to an issue. My diet was so on point, it was insane. My business side of the world was so on point, it was insane. But guess what? I was lazy at home at times. I was lazy towards my ex-wife at times. I was lazy towards her needs, obviously. As she was to mine, she was clearly lazy towards mine as well. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to say that either. Well, you know what? Fuck it. Like, the only way this works is if I'm being real, and it's all my fault. Like, I gotta handle and the only reason it's all my fault because that's all I can fucking control. It's the only goddamn thing I control is me. That's it. So whether she had shortcomings or not, whether she did something or didn't, it doesn't matter. I had the ability to do something before and I didn't. I lacked the impulse control. When I was sitting on that fucking couch, my big ass fucking house, my monster ass TV with my kids running around, they're going fucking nuts. She's doing something. Like, I can't even tell you what she was doing because I was that disconnected. I was convinced, I worked all day. I did this. My impulse was to sit my fucking lazy ass down on that couch because what did I tell myself? Man, you got up at 4 a.m. You did your workout. You and your son hit baseballs in the batting cage in the barn. And that's all before 6:30 a.m. And you made breakfast. And then you went to work, busted your ass, got some deals done, made a fuck ton of money, coached the team after school for baseball, and then came home 7 going on 8 p.m. I deserve this. I get to sit down. No, you don't. That was an impulse. That's all that was. My impulse was I just want to go straight to that couch. When in reality, what I should have been doing was, now I do this. Find the significant other. Ask her about her day. How was your day, babe? Let her talk. Be interested. I'm not going to go too far down this path because this is a discussion for a different day. When it comes to dating and relationships, holy shit, if I'd have known some of the stuff I know now, my fucking relationship now is insane. It's insanely good. Well, I'll just leave that right there. It's untouchable. Having said that, though, it's because I implemented these things. The self-control is there. Not only that, but I talk about my fucking day. Don't get me wrong. There's days I don't want to talk about shit. There's days that they suck bad enough at work that I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to bring it up because I already lived it. And understand. Again, going on the dating side, I don't want to get too far down this, but you don't have to have that kind of conversation every day. It just needs to be brought up once a week or so. That's it. Connect. But again, that was my impulse control. Other times, I prioritized the workout. When I'd come home, if I didn't do it at 4 a.m., I'd come home, hey, I'm going to go out to the garage. She, okay, and at the time, I didn't think nothing of it because she'd say, okay. I'm going to go out to the bar. I'm going to work out. I'm going to go outside and mow the yard. I'm going to get the baseball fields ready. We had baseball fields in our front yard. I built 3 of them. Like, I would maintain all that. Like, that was my impulse to go do that first. And so many people will tell you, well, that shit's got to be done. You know what? It does. Not every day. Not all the time. Not in an impulsive way. Something that wasn't planned out. You don't think the relationship needed more attention? Like, that would have been the stronger thing. That would have been the better decision. That would have been the more thought out, manly decision in that time. Didn't do it though. It's what it is. And if I'm going to break it really far down, I'm going to speak out of line a little bit here. Let's be real, we can all deal with impulse control. My situation specifically was there was an impulse issue on the other half. I don't think I'd be standing here if there wasn't an impulse issue on the other half. There's a million things I think I could work through in my life. A moment of weakness and having no impulse control led to the one thing in my life, my bright line, that was unforgivable. Once that boundary was crossed, I had known myself, and I was very vocal about this. There's no coming back. And you know what? A lot of people would say that's wrong. Why would you do that? You're telling yourself something that you don't even know. What if you could get through that? It could be the most amazing thing in the world. My hat is off to you. If that is who you are, I wish you the best. That is not who I am. The life I've lived lets me know that the people that are willing to do that without any conversation up front are not worth my time on the backside. They will do it again. They've shown their colors. They may not do it to somebody else, but they will do it again to you. It's there. That is my life, though. I don't want to place that upon you. Just understand that's where I'm at. That's where my beliefs are. Going back to that, it's that impulse control, man. That was the biggest thing I want to talk to him about. That is really, if I'm being real, I'm having the conversation with you guys because I wasn't able to have it with him. And not that I couldn't have it with him. It was just in that moment, the stage wasn't right. He wasn't actually looking for that. That's not the kind of moment we had as far as the relationship between each other at work. It's just not what the moment called for. But listen, this is the conversation that needed to happen. As he sat there and looks at me, and he's more than 35, 40 pounds overweight. Like, I know you struggle with impulse control. I know you do. It's not a question of, is this an issue? I know that's the issue because it's the issue at the core of all of it. You don't have a handle on yourself. You aren't the leader within your own life. You're just moving around in it. You aren't taking control of it daily. So, I'll tell you right there, that's kind of where I'm going to stop on that one. That is a big win that you can have early on. And that is something that takes no money, no time, no serious amount of extra energy. It just takes attention. That's it. Because it happens throughout your day an unimaginable amount of times. It's over and over and over and over. It's anything that you see as an inconvenience. And instead of wishing it wasn't there, it's handling it head on. That's it. And this will compound and it will pay off massively, nonstop. Don't choose to complain about it. Choose to handle it. That's it. Okay. All right. So here we are. So now on the workout side of things. So on Monday, late November, early December right now. Or, well, yeah, it's right at the very end of November here. It's cold as fuck out. Wind chill right now, we're sitting at like a 15, I want to say. And don't get me wrong, I know there's parts of the fucking country people are like, oh, that's nice. That must be nice to have summer right now. 15 degrees, wish that's how warm it was. But listen, let's be real. 15 ain't warm. And it's only going to get colder. I will say, though, that there will be a day in the near future that I'm sitting here thinking to myself, damn, I wish I had that 15 degree weather back. Because this is about the moment this garage starts to get a little bit rough. It starts to get real cold. And I'm going to have to start layering up. I'm going to start getting out the big heater. And then it just turns into a whole issue, whatever. But that's about to start happening. But we're on the third week of this actual cycle, if you want to call it that, of these exercises and these specific rep range. I'm going to be real with you. I'm halfway through this one. This rep range at 6 to 10 to 12-ish, like it feels good when I'm done. Like I feel good. Physically, I know I'm wearing all these clothes, so it's not like you get to see every time. I'm not going to be the dude that's going to stand there and do fucking naked pictures all day. There might be one or two when the summer's rolling around that are in shorts and shit, but it ain't going to be standing there cupping my balls so everyone can see how fucking lean my goddamn groin is. That shit's fucked up. But having said that, I feel like body composition is going really well. Weight is going up on the scale. I consistently was right around that 210 range, if you remember in a few videos back. And I've been doing this. I started the videos at one point, but I've been working out like this for what's going on about a month now. And in all seriousness, I've already put on about 3 pounds-ish. And it's really good because I still have a full six-pack. Abs are still really lean. Body composition is still looking good, and I feel good. Like I'm still getting pumps. So I know the food is still treating me right. I'm going to slowly step these up. My calories are floating at 3,200 range per day. I'm trying to get closer to 3,500 to 3,800 a day. So what that means is over time, I'm going to slowly step it up. Just a little here, a little there. Again, shooting for 230, which is a lofty goal. Now, I'm not trying to get there real fast. I'm trying to get there real slow, to be honest. But having said that, I'm at a point where I'm starting to gain that weight in a good way. So I'm going to start bumping the calories a little bit. And that's where the metabolism comes in. I have a very good metabolism. Having said, I'm 6'3", 212, 213 pounds right now on average. Eating very controlled. I'm clean on a sense of macros. They are very controlled. But let's be real here for a minute. I don't hit my carb count by a certain point in the day, but I've got all my protein in. You better believe I'm having that ice cream at night. Making sure it fits, making sure it hits those calories. I'm going to allow myself that muffin, that cookie, that something here and or there. 4, 5, 6 days in a row, man, I'll do that at all. If that moment strikes, if that piece of pizza sounds good, I'm doing it. I don't have to question whether or not I should or shouldn't. I've done the work. I've done the math. I know what it takes to be able to do those kinds of things. It's not a question of can I or can't I. It's I already know how to. It works. I've done it. I've done it over and over. It's no big deal. So we're good. But that's the glory of all this. When you start to learn it all and understand it, and that's what I help people with, you can have whatever the fuck you want. We're just going to hit a certain types of numbers. We're going to try to phase that bullshit out. But dude, there's no point in looking good naked if you can't have some good ass fucking food with your woman. You know what I mean? You can't enjoy your time with your kids. What the fuck's the point in that? Get the fuck out of here. That bullshit. You gonna tell me that you'd rather eat your shit like a fucking robot 100% of the time and look not even 1% better than me, maybe 0.5%? Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm having cake with my kids. I'm having hot ass fucking sex with my woman, looking good doing so, and eating that shit when I want. I can take her out to a good ass dinner, not have to worry about it. Yeah, we're good. That's a fulfilling life. That's how you handle that shit. Let's be real there. That's the goal. The goal is not to sit around and fucking eat like a goddamn robot. That's bullshit. That's about the dumbest fucking thing you can do. I've done that in the past. That's not living, guys. That's not living at all. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, so for me, the 6 to 12 range, it's feeling good. Kind of got off track there. It's feeling good. But this rep range, again, because I just say 6 to 12 and I do it across all the exercises. When it comes to biohacking and absolute maximum efficiency with hypertrophy, all that bullshit, you know what? Yeah, there's ways to do it better. 100% yes. There absolutely is. Okay. This takes all the thinking out of it. I get a move and I get a go. But I'm going to be real clear. Again, that 6 to 12 range, you feel it. You know that's a heavy load, man, because you got to get yourself convinced that, okay, we're doing this right now, we're doing that right now. I need to push myself. I try to hang out closer to that 10-ish range. But some of these things, if you push yourself the right way and you start really leaning into that 6 range, holy shit. Without a good amount of time and a good amount of warm up and getting yourself primed, like you feel it. Like you can feel it. Just be smart. So like this 6 to 12 range, kind of going into that, if like you find yourself working on that and we're doing this at the same time, like you just happen to be watching these videos and we're doing it together, just understand, like, if it doesn't work for you right now, that's okay. You can still do this exact shit. Just do a few more reps. Pushing that 10 to 15 range. Who knows? Like it's not, and in reality, it doesn't have to be any one or the other. It just needs to be more of a, all right, what am I doing this time? And how can I try to get a little better next time? That's really all it comes down to. So just kind of float in that range and get that stuff going. But that really, for me, like I said, it's all about ease of mind. I don't want this to be some complicated thing where I've got to break out some monster fucking folder and have my workbook and have my full workout laid out. I got to have all my shit exactly right. And I got to consult my phone. And I got to watch my heart rate. And I got to watch the fucking board over here. And I got to do all this shit and make sure I write it all down too every single time. Like, fuck all that. That became work. If you're doing this shit right, it's already fucking work. So just understand that. Yeah, the sooner you can make this a little more simple for your own life, if you can start to work in it at the right times and take all the guesswork out of it, you're good. You're good to go. The other thing too is be real with yourself. Especially when it comes to lifting weight side. Like, can you do a certain weight? Like, nobody gives a shit, I promise you. That is one thing that I struggled with for a long time too. In multiple ways. Number one, when I was young, I thought people were always watching me like, oh man, is this motherfucker actually gonna do that? Look at that pussy ass weight he's doing. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody that matters gives a shit. You know what I'm saying? And just nobody cares. And I went through that a couple of times when I got my weight really up in my mid to late 20s, when I was getting real strong, when everything was just going real well. And I started getting hurt in my early 30s. So it was late 20s then. Started getting hurt in my early 30s. So I was just pushing too hard and doing too much. Like I had that same moment of like, oh my God, people are going to like think, oh man, what a little bitch. He can't even do this. Oh man, all that's for nothing. It's like, no, nobody cares. Like, nobody gives a shit. And again, if they do, they don't matter. And you shouldn't care about them. Who cares? It just doesn't matter. So just be real with yourself when you're lifting the weights. Understand that, listen, you got a rep range you're shooting for. And just shoot for that rep range. And do not try to hurt yourself. Again, 2 RIR, reps in reserve. That's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for that on every lift. I just happen to be doing 6 to 12-ish. And in that range somewhere, I'm going to stop with 2 reps in reserve, hopefully. The goal is, for me right now, is not really to make it to 12 and still have 2 that I could do. My goal would be to make it to more like 8 to 10-ish with 2 left to do. That's what I'm shooting for now on almost everything. But okay, so here's a good example for me for it doesn't matter, is I'm going to bring this up a lot because it is one of the things that's the most embarrassing for me. It's one of the things I struggle with the most, but my quads. Squat in particular, oh my God. It is embarrassing. You know what? It's not embarrassing in reality. I currently struggle with it as a functional movement. And because of that, I struggle mentally with it as well. That weight is not only a lot on my shoulders for my legs, but that weight is also a lot for me mentally right now. The outward perception of it sucks. But you know what? I'm showing it. I'm here. I'm doing it. It ain't a lot. And I struggle with it. My knees, they're crackling and popping. They don't hurt per se like injury, but they feel it. They're getting better all the time. I'm doing my stretching all the time, trying to get deeper. I don't have to do that one in front of camera. I could just lay off of it. I could just keep hanging on my stupid fucking injuries. I could keep slamming pictures of it. My leg all fucked up. Oh yeah, see, like right there. I felt that one a little bit, just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. I cut her short. But I could just keep popping up the surgery or the pictures of the surgery or pictures of the splint. I could show you pictures of the black and the blue and the purple part of my leg. I could keep popping that up every time I say, well, you know, I can't do squats because of this. I could do that bullshit. Like all the motherfucking chumps do. But why? Why do I need to show you some bullshit in the past that don't even fucking matter? Why do I need to sit here and use that as my crutch for why the fuck I can't do something today? That seems dumb. That sounds like some serious bullshit. That sounds like some real bitch voice talk. You know what I mean? Boss voice is swallow the pride, bud. Shut the fuck up and get in there and do it. You put that shit on camera. You let everybody see that. You show them that we're all vulnerable. We've all got weaknesses in so many fucking ways. That's just one. Let them see. Let them know. It's the only way I can grow. Remember, the mind that created the problem is not the mind that can solve it. My mind wants to create that problem every time. Listen, man, you had surgery. You blew your whole knee apart. Like, you were so big and so strong, you were running, blew out your knee, catching a fly ball, trying to rob a home run, right? Now let's go ahead and hit the facts. I know I've said this before, but like, it's the reality of the situation. Actually, you were lifting weights to be big, not to be athletic. You couldn't let go of your past that you kind of fucked up in your own way because you had your mindset all fucked up when you were a kid, so you didn't get to play. You didn't get to take up your college scholarships that you had, so you said fuck that. So you're still trying to relive the glory days. And you tried to rob a home run in some slow pitch motherfucking softball. Like, that's the reality. And then guess what? When it came time to stop and to just make a normal catch or something, you tried to sell out, blew your shit all apart, looking like a fucking retard, looking like a fucking bitch. Made the stupidest fucking decision in the world. Just dumb. So fucking dumb. That's the reality of it. That's what happened. So that's why when we talk about this, it's like I get to talk about it because it's a joke, but I want to make sure that it's seen that we all got struggles. We've all made dumb decisions, physically, mentally, financially, romantically, spiritually. We've all made them. We've all fucked up. Not a one of us are immune. And not a one of us are immune moving forward. I promise you that. Not a one of us. And don't let anybody tell you that either. Anybody tells you that, shut the shit off. Walk away from them. They're fucking liars. They ain't doing shit. They ain't special. They're fucking up too. And they're fighting it. As they should be. We're not here to have the easy path. We're here to earn this. It's a once in a lifetime thing. You don't get a second chance. Live to the highest qualities. So listen, going all the way back to the beginning here on the divorce side, listen, take control of your life. Do not struggle with impulse control. Take control of that shit. Handle your business. Don't let these little moments force you into a quick snap decision. Do the stuff. Be the man. We need to work on this. If you're single, you need to work on it for you and the people around you. If you're a dad, like myself, you need to work on this because your kids need to see it. They need to understand it. Okay? On the weight side, push hard, guys. Get after it. That's impulse control too. You're eating right. You're doing the thing. Look good. Come on, man. Let's go. All right. Till next time.